and this is gonna be episode 4, maybe part 1, because it's still SB's episode.
We love SB's episodes.
SB's episode part 3, and this is roll call. Let's get straight to it.
Let's get straight to the who's. So, oh man, we got some big personalities left to describe here.
Yeah.
Let's start with Carl. He's
Okay.
newer. He's newer to the group.
Okay.
He works for Urban Alchemy, and I'd say his background is similar to Edmund's. His background's similar to Edmund's in so much as he was also formerly incarcerated. I don't know how long he was in jail for.
I don't know how. I haven't really talked to Carl that much. You probably know a little bit more about Carl than I do.
Yes, I know just a little bit more. I think I've probably spoken with Carl for a total of like an hour, which means that maybe we've interacted 2 or 3 times out at TTL. But he was formerly incarcerated. I believe he has a fiance, and he also in just a similar level of grit as Edmund had. They're hustling, they're saving their money, and he's just putting his head down to make it all work out. And I believe he's in his 50s, and we were talking about how it's so hard but also exciting at the same time. It's so hard and it's so exciting to be starting your life, essentially. I don't know how long he was in jail for, but it was a long period of time. So now that he's out in his 50s, he's just learning how to be his best self. But he's also at an age where society says you should be retiring, or you should be finishing up the hard work in your life, and you should be ready to relax. And it's so hard sometimes to hear about these inner struggles, that inner dialogue that Carl has with himself. And I just respect so much that he comes out, he's positive, he's polite, and he is committed to making it work. And I'm so honored to support him and support Edmund and really everyone that we have the opportunity to support out here. I really look forward to getting to know him better.
Likewise.
So Carl, do we want to get into Yvonne? We're gonna end with Yvonne. We just keep teasing Yvonne. We've been teasing her for like hella episodes. I mean, we need to have her on the show.
It would be cool to go from Carl to Yvonne, but yeah, maybe we save Yvonne for.
We'll save Yvonne. What we will say is that Carl replaced Yvonne at this public restroom down in Embarcadero. So that's the teaser, and we'll leave it there. You're gonna start with Ty.
Oh man,
it's so. I mean, maybe we take a clip from the Instagram. Take a clip from the Instagram. Who am I?
Well, homelessness is like you look at. Remember Robin Hood's story? Rob from the rich and give to the poor. Well, if the story is true, why did he rob from the rich and give to the poor? People do things not only out of mercy and kindness, it's being human. And when you take that human aspect from people, you call chaos. Jesus came, everybody who claimed to believe in Jesus, he came and said, taught peace, taught love, taught forgiveness. Those things carry a message. They came from history all the way down. And more people loved each other, more you dance, more you drunken party, more and more you grow. But more and more you learn to despise each other, to look for fault in each other, you shall find fault. And you shall be destroyed. It's history. You read your Bible, your Quran, your Torah, and your other holy books. You destroy yourself.
So that was Ty. I mean, that's just one sentence. Like, if you got to know Ty, like, that's the least amount of talking. I mean, I don't know. I don't have anything bad to say about Ty. Ty is probably one of the most intelligent people that we've met. He is definitely. I don't know. It's just Ty is just so much wrapped into one. It's just hard to really explain. It's just
He's like an oracle.
I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
Like I really don't. Like you're gonna have to. This is your episode. I'm just gonna let you take it because
He keeps doing this. This is
I know
your
I need to
episode.
talk more, but
No, that's okay. I thought it would be. I like how you introduced Ty, and I knew that you would introduce him in a meaningful way because I feel like the two of you have a little bit of a. I don't know if it's a connection, but the two of you definitely clicked early on.
we think very similarly.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay. That's great.
Because he's also spiritual. I'm very spiritual. He's very spiritual.
Yes.
We're both very deep thinkers. So
You guys have a similar. You have your spirituality. I don't know if it's similar, but you guys have the same maybe flavor of spirituality. It's very. I don't have the words for it, but it's nice to see you both interact. Like Ty and I interact, and I don't know if I push his buttons. I think sometimes he pushes his own buttons, or just maybe it's just the weight of things or the fact that he's thought about these things so many times that he has
Yeah.
no more patience left for it. So he gets worked up. But I tend to get more riled up reactions from Ty, whereas I feel like the two of you have always had very peaceful conversations where you both tend to find this very beautiful common ground.
I just listen a lot more, and you're very combative.
Okay, keep that in the episode.
Not combative in like a fighting way, but like you question a lot. Like
Yes.
why do you think that? You know, stuff like that.
Yes.
What makes you think that? You know, you jab and you poke at ideas a lot more. Where I kind of just take it in and absorb whatever he's saying to me.
Yes.
And maybe he doesn't. Not that you're wrong, or not that you're even saying he's wrong, but maybe he's just. Maybe he feels like it's like, I don't know, like you're poking at him rather than the ideas. I don't know.
That's an element of it. I think also sometimes my jabbing and poking, I like that, is naive. Sometimes I think, or I don't realize, this is probably the bazillionth time someone's asked him this question. And when he has a reaction that's a little more abrupt or impatient or sometimes angry. I mean, I've made Ty angry sometimes, or I don't know if I've made him angry. He has been angry during our conversations.
I don't think he's angry. I think he's just passionate about what he speaks about.
I remember one time he was like a little beat up. Remember that?
Well, yeah, he said he used to be over on Mission and I don't know, one of those alleys. Those alleys between Market and Mission get pretty bad. But he said that he got jumped before, and that's why he stays over at the Embarcadero, because it's a little bit more safe. And he's just been there ever since. Like, he's been robbed and all that. So
yeah, I remember that. I remember he had like, he was beat up. Like I remember he had a black eye or something. Like he was visibly beat up. Yeah. We were talking about it with Yvonne. So I think I will tell a story about me being poking. What'd you say? I poke and I
jab.
Poke and I jab. Yeah.
And punch really hard.
Well, I mean that's.
And throw chairs.
I don't.
No.
Throw chairs.
Esperanza is not confrontational. She wants to get to the root of the problem.
I want to get there. You're right.
You know, and share ideas, and rather than just accepting what they say, you know, let's debate. Let's be humans, and you know, have conversations. And
yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's many factors at play between our differing mentalities and approaches, but it's funny that you say that in particular, because one of my favorite quotes is from It's from A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. That's not that important. But the quote goes something like, the value of the journey is not in the destination. It's in the crossing. So, and we've heard that quote in many forms. I think Kobe Bryant has a similar one, that it's not about where you're going, it's about the ride, right? It's a cliche at this point. But so for you to observe, and rightfully so, that I'm more concerned with the destination sometimes, like the root of the problem, like let's get there, let's fix it, as opposed to the process of finding the common ground, is just great self-awareness. So we can cut that out. Let's talk about a time, though, that I was pushy as hell, because I was being pushy this day. I was feeling impatient. I believe it was the day that Yvonne was relocated to Civic Center.
Yes.
And it was, I think, after we had recorded episode 2, like within the week that we recorded episode 2, where we spent a lot of time thinking about, like, why are we doing this? Where is it going? Right? These questions where you and I are just inherently at odds, because I want to know the answer and you want to just enjoy the ride. So we're out there, and then Yvonne leaves, and everyone's really kind of sad. Like, it was very abrupt, and I think Marty was there when her manager came down and said, you know, you've been relocated to Civic Center. And then everyone showed up and, you know, thought it was like, you know, a Tuesday as usual, which was not the case. And I think I was talking with Ty and Marty and a group of people, and I was like, you know what? If we could, oh right, yeah, Yvonne, we'll talk about her. But if we could, the navigation center had just opened, the new one. And I was like, Ty, say we get you a bed, we get you a house, we get you whatever it is. What does that look like, right? Like, what is your idea of a perfect house? What is this? What is that, the other? And Ty just like ripped me a new one, right? He goes, well, my idea of a perfect house is, you know, a home in the countryside. He's from Michigan. I don't know if there's countrysides out there, but that's what he said. And I go, okay, well, we can't do that, right? I go, whoever this we is, well, we can't do that. And he goes, well, what did he say? It was something like, he was like, that's exactly the problem. Like, you think you can't do it, but it's just because you're not really doing anything, right? Like, you don't really have a choice, right? You're just conforming, or you're in this system, right? Yeah. So you think that you're choosing and you think that you're doing things, but you're really just following in line for a path that's already been laid out for you. And I want to speed this up because, I mean, we could really talk about this conversation, but the real issue here was that you need a certain amount of personal documentation to get into a nav center. And not only that, I think you also have to be referred into a navigation center by another organization. So it's just all of this paperwork and formality, and I think for some it feels a little dehumanizing, like you're a prisoner with a number, right? I think Ty's words were, you're a slave, right? Slaves had identification, and in Ty's words, he's like, how is that any different from your state ID or your social security? Very triggering for him, just the whole topic of conversation. But Marty, I would say he is the opposite of Ty in terms of just open passion and directness and how deep he thinks, right? Marty, you know, if Ty is like the deep intellectual, Marty is like easygoing, light, counterpart to that. So on the one hand, we have Ty's very powerful opinion about birth certificates and social security numbers and the role that they play in really imprisoning him. And then Marty comes in and he says, well, I would love to have somewhere to sleep, but I don't have my birth certificate. And we go, what do you mean, Marty? And he's like, yeah, I have my ID and I'm born and raised in San Francisco. I know exactly where I was where I was raised or what hospital I was born at. I know my dad's full name. I know my mom's full name. I know their birthdays, but I don't know how to get my birth certificate. And we go, what? Like, how's that even possible?
I was born in the San Francisco General Hospital, the old version.
And why does he have problems? He's born. He's born in the city.
Ty, you're spilling your coat.
Good thing you got your poncho
Good
on.
thing you got your raincoat on.
So
Now, I was
He
wondering.
born in the city and got problems. In the city.
We would all have. I mean,
Well, ask the cab driver. How many, hey, how many of your cab drivers got birth certificates? Who has these damn cabs the one driving the cab? How many
you
of them
know
got
what?
birth
Do you?
Okay.
We gotta
How
keep
many
talking to
bus
you, Ty.
how many bus drivers got birth
Talking to
certificates?
you.
We gotta set up an interview with
I
Ty.
think
Yeah,
you
for
guys,
real.
I
It'll
think
be
you
like a
guys,
whole 3 days.
How many foreigners work in the
Give me your bro.
How many foreigners work in the city of San Francisco don't have birth certificates? How you get an ID? How you get an ID with no birth certificate?
Otherwise, you can't get into a hotel without an ID.
There you
Yeah,
go.
you have an ID, right?
Right.
So how you get an ID?
Okay, so the DMV knows your social.
There you go. As long as you got a social number, you are who you are. You get an ID. You don't have a birth certificate, you get an ID. How that?
Well, we're gonna see what we can do, Ty, and then you can keep yelling at me if we fail.
How that happen? How you get an ID?
You need
So-
to not yell at me though, because that's
How you
triggering.
get
Okay,
an ID?
so my
You don't have a
suggestion,
birth certificate, how you get an
go
ID?
back to work.
Yeah, we got it. We
And then tomorrow at lunchtime,
They were
I'll
already
be here.
saying
Marty's like,
that
take care of
every
me.
time.
So that's my intro to Marty, and I think one of my favorite stories of TTL. Do you want to make a transition before we keep going?
Watch part 2 so you can get the story of Marty.
Lorenzo, you're so tired of me.
No, I'm not tired of you. It's just I want to transition quickly so we can get to the story.
Yes. Okay. Do you need to restart anything?
I do need to restart it, but
Okay.
I don't know. Do we have to do like episode transition?
I don't think we need to. I think you have enough.
Next part 2 coming up.
It's like an order of French fries.